Hello everyone. Today we'll talk about the internal structure of the medulla oblongata. The internal structure of the medulla oblongata can be studied by examining transverse sections at three levels. The first level at the level of pyramidal decussation, the second level at the level of sensory decussation, and the third level at the level of olive. So this is the first one where we can see the section at the level of pyramidal decussation. So you can see the structure in red, which is a pyramid, and you can see the decussation. Second section at the level of medulla, at the level of sensory decussation. So you can see the almost pink structure. You can see the decussation, which is fibers coming from the gracile and cuneate nucleus. The third level, you can see the crenated mass, that is the olive. So this is the section taken at that level. This is at the floor of the fourth ventricle. So now we'll see the details of each individual sections. So first of all, we'll see the section at the level of pyramidal decussation. So main gray matter seen here are, you can see the central gray matter with the central canal, the pyramids which are depicted in red and their decussation, nucleus gracilis, you can see in the gray matter posteriorly, medially you can see the nucleus gracilis, and lateral to it is the nucleus cuneatus, and apart from that you can also see laterally is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. So in the grey matter, the ventral grey column, so this is separated from the central grey matter by the decussating pyramidal fibers. The neurons of this ventral grey matter gives origin to the uppermost rootlets of the first cervical nerve and some fibers of the spinal root of accessory nerve. The reticular formation is present between the ventral grey column and the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. Now coming to the descending tracts at the level of pyramidal decussation. So very important tract we are going to see is the corticospinal tract, which form from the pyramids. The lateral corticospinal tract, after crossing the midline, these fibers turn downwards into the region lateral to the central grey matter. The third tract which you are going to see is the ventral corticospinal tract. This is the uncrossed fibers descend into the ventral funiculus of the spinal cord. The other descending tracts at this level are, so the spinal tract of trigeminal nerve, so depicted as A, rubrospinal tract as B, vestibulospinal tract as C, olivospinal tract as D. So close to it is the tectospinal tract. So these are all the descending tracts. Next, coming to the ascending tracts. So posterior most you are going to see the fasciculus gracilis and fasciculus cuneatus as A and B. Then spinotectal, spinocerebellar, spinothalamic and spino-olivary tracts. So these are all the ascending tracts. Next, the second section of the medulla at the level of sensory decussation. So in the grey matter, we can see the central canal which surrounds the central grey matter, which is surrounded by the central grey matter. Apart from that, we can see the pyramids and medial lemniscus, pyramids which is in red, and posterior to it longitudinally is the medial lemniscus. The nucleus gracilis posteriorly depicted as number 3, and lateral to which is the nucleus cuneatus, and more laterally is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and the reticular formation. So main sensory decussation arises from the nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus. This gives origin to the internal arcuate fibers. The fibers arise from both the nucleus, that is the nucleus gracilis and the nucleus cuneatus. They arch forward and medially around the central grey matter to cross the midline. The fibers arising from this nucleus, they arch forward and medially around the central grey matter, cross the midline, then they turn cranially to constitute the medial lemniscus, which lies just posterior to the pyramids, which is in red. So this medial lemniscus is depicted as the green longitudinal structure in the midline. So both the fibers from the nucleus gracilis and nucleus cuneatus pass forwards and intercross each other. So the fibers from the nucleus gracilis comes to lie ventral to those of the nucleus cuneatus. So in the medial lemniscus, those fibers from the legs lie most anteriorly, followed by the fibers of the trunk, and most posteriormost is from the upper limb. So initially the medial lemniscus was lying longitudinally. So here you can see it is lying longitudinally, but as it ascends upwards into the brain stem, this medial lemniscus becomes transversal. The anterior fibers becomes lateral and the posterior fibers becomes medial. You can see various cranial nerve nuclei at this level. So in the central grey matter, most anteriorly, you can see that is which is depicted as C, that is the hypoglossal nuclei, lie ventral to the central canal. Then dorsolateral to it is the dorsal vagal nuclei. and in the central gray matter posteriorly placed is the nucleus of the solitary tract. So these are the nuclei seen in the central gray matter. The other nuclei seen in the remaining area are depicted as A is the nucleus ambiguous, which lies in the reticular formation medial to the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal nerve. Then inferior olivary nucleus, medial accessory olivary nucleus, arcuate nuclei, and lateral reticular nuclei. So these are the various other nuclei which are seen. Next, coming to the ascending tracts. So main ascending tracts are fasciculus gracilis, which is lying posteriormost. Next, the fasciculus cuneatus, spinocerebellar tract, spinothalamic tract, spino-olivary tract, and spinotectal tract. So these are all the ascending tracts which are seen. Coming to the descending tracts, we can see the pyramids lying more anteriorly, then the olivospinal tract, vestibulospinal tract, rubrospinal tract, and the medial longitudinal fasciculus. So with this, we have completed the section of the medulla at the sensory decussation. Next, coming to the section at the level of olive. So main features seen here at this level are, we can see in the uppermost region is the floor of the fourth ventricle, which is lined by the grey matter. The inferior cerebellar peduncle, then just medial to it is the spinal nucleus and tract of the trigeminal nerve. So in between you are going to find is the reticular formation, the inferior olivary nucleus, you can see a crenated mass, and the medial lemniscus in the midline, and more anteriorly placed is the pyramids. So again, trying to recapitulate, you can see the floor of the fourth ventricle, the inferior cerebellar peduncle, the spinal nucleus and tract of trigeminal nerve, the reticular formation, the inferior olivary nucleus, the medial lemniscus, as well as the pyramids. So coming to the cranial nuclei in relation to the floor of the fourth ventricle. So where you are seeing in the topmost region. So main is the hypoglossal nucleus, dorsal vagal nucleus, nucleus ambiguous, vestibular nucleus, dorsal and ventral cochlear nucleus, and solitary tract and its nucleus. So hypoglossal, dorsal vagal nucleus, nucleus ambiguous, vestibular nuclei, dorsal and ventral cochlear nuclei, and solitary tract and its nucleus. So other nuclei which you are going to see are the pontobulbar body lies dorsal lateral aspect of the inferior cerebellar peduncle, lateral reticular nucleus, inferior olivary nucleus along with the medial and dorsal accessory olivary nuclei and arcuate nuclei. These are the other nuclei which are seeing. That's the pontobulbar body, the lateral reticular nucleus, the inferior olivary nucleus. You can see the crenated mass with the medial and dorsal accessory olivary nuclei and the arcuate nuclei. So with this we have completed the various nuclei. Next, coming to the descending tracts. So very important is the pyramids, most anteriorly placed. Next is the vestibulospinal, rubrospinal tracts, tectospinal tracts, and spinal tract of trigeminal nerve. So the pyramids, vestibulospinal, rubrospinal, tectospinal, and spinal tract of trigeminal nerve. So these are all the descending tracts. Next, coming to the ascending tracts, the medial longitudinal fasciculus, spinocerebellar, spinothalamic, spinotectal, and medial lemniscus. Again, we'll try to recapitulate the ascending tracts: medial longitudinal fasciculus, spinocerebellar, spinothalamic, spinotectal tracts, and medial lemniscus. So this is at the level of the section at the level of the olive. So main feature you can see in the closed part is the gracile and cunate nuclei. So the fibers of the fasciculus gracilis and cunatus, where at the level of sensory decussation you can see the internal arcuate fibers. This gives rise to the medial lemniscus. So from this medial lemniscus, this ultimately reaches the thalamus. So connections of the inferior olivary nucleus are main afferents. So they are coming from the cerebral cortex and spinal cord. The main efferents are from the cerebral cortex and spinal cord. So it forms a relay station for the following pathways: cortico-olivary cerebellar pathway. So that is cortico-olivary cerebellar pathway. Second, you are having the cortico-olivo-spinal pathway. Then spino-olivo-cerebellar pathway. So connections of the arcuate nuclei are regarded as displaced pontine nuclei. The cortical fibers reach them through the pyramids. They are relayed to the cerebellum by two separate pathways. Some form the anterior external arcuate fibers to reach the inferior cerebellar peduncle of the opposite side. The other fibers passes dorsally and reach the floor of the fourth ventricle. So you can see them as the stria medullaris. So fibers of the arcuate nuclei probably end in the flocculus of the cerebellum. Next, coming to the applied aspects. So here medulla oblongata is a very important vital center, especially for respiratory and vasomotor, situated in the lower part of the floor of the fourth ventricle, forming the medulla. So an injury to the medulla is therefore very vital. Bulbar paralysis may be acute. It is characterized by paralysis of muscles supplied by the last four cranial nerves which arise in the medulla. Pseudobulbar palsy, supranuclear type of paralysis of the bulbar muscles as a result of cerebral atherosclerosis. anterior medullary syndrome. So it's vascular lesion, especially for the fourth part of the vertebral and anterior spinal arteries. The main clinical signs seen here are loss of movements of the contralateral side of the body, wasting of tongue musculature ipsilaterally. Lateral medullary syndrome, another vascular injury, loss of pain and temperature from the ipsilateral side of the face and forehead, abolishing of similar sensation from the contralateral side of the body due to involvement of the spinal lemniscus. There is a crossed sensory paralysis. So assignments are mainly they'll ask you about the sections at various levels. So draw and label section at the level of pyramidal decussation. Similarly, draw and label the section at the level of sensory decussation. Draw and label the cross section at the level of olive.